Well, greetings, fellow Spyder lovers. It's Dave again with Ozarks Spyder Rides, showing you my sign for my Spyder garage there. I came up with that name. The wife was trying to name the Spyder, and she had all kinds of names, and I came up with the Sir Cost-a-Lot. We thought it was kind of funny, so we made a little magnetic sign. Okay, so it's time to change your oil, and you want to do it yourself, and that's not uncommon. A lot of times you live too far from the dealership, or the dealerships are too busy, or you don't want to have to drop the Spyder and bring it back. So I understand that. I'm showing you some of the tools that you need, and I make a list so I can remember what it is I'm trying to do. And you'll need a Star 45, that's for the main engine drain. You'll need a 6mm Allen adapter, that's for the clutch side. You'll need a 36mm socket, that's to take the top of the oil container thing off. And you'll need a drain pan. Now, what I have here is actually a Rachel Ray drain pan. This thing was on sale at Amazon, and I got it real cheap. I think I paid $7 for it, but it's great. It's real slick coated, so it'll wipe out real easy. And you'll need a few rags. You'll need a torque wrench, and you'll need to know what your torque specs are in order to put everything back together. And I do recommend that you torque things correctly and not just guess at it. You'll need your little bag of O-rings, and I do recommend that you change all of the O-rings and not try to reuse the old ones. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now I'm going to be using the factory recommended XPS oil, because that's what the manufacturer recommends, and since they made the bike, I think that's good enough for me. So all right, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start out showing you where the clutch side drain plug is. And to give you an idea, I've dropped the floorboard down, so there's the brake pedal. There's the front edge of the floorboard with it dropped down, and I've got a mirror underneath so that you can see what I'm trying to show you, because it's very difficult to get this mirror in here and hold a light and me see what we're doing. Okay, if you can see that black plate, that's a plastic plate underneath. Right there where that little round part is, you'll see that 6mm plug, and that is your drain for the clutch side. That's your oil drain. Now when you take that plug out, be sure and clean the magnet, because it catches all the magnetic debris from the clutch wear. Of course, replace your washers and everything. So that's pretty easy, but be sure when you put that 6mm tool in that hole, that Allen wrench tool, you get it in all the way, okay? I'm over on the left side of the bike now, and I'm kind of laying down on my side. But this drain plug is just about straight in from the tip of your left floorboard. So as I move under, this is going to be a little difficult to hold the camera and get the picture and everything, so excuse the shakiness, but there is your main oil drain plug right there, and that's the T45. Okay, one little trick. When you start to drain this, as it gets to the end of the draining, it will start to drip and swing around, and the oil will go into this protective pan. So you need to roll up some shop towels and put them in there so that that does not happen. But that's your main oil drain right there. The third thing that we're concerned with is this oil container thing right here where I've got the light shining. That's where your 36mm socket goes, and you just unscrew that cap, put some rags around it so that it doesn't drip, and unscrew it, and you can pull it straight out, and then you'll have to pull the oil filter out after that. Now the nice thing about that is, once you pull that plug out, that cap, it's got a long rod down through the middle, and when you take it out, it opens up the oil drain, and the oil will drain back. You don't have to do anything. In fact, you can let the filter drain and everything. So it's a pretty neat little arrangement. And then, of course, when you get ready to put it all back together, just reverse the procedure. I have a oil change tool that most of you are not going to have, but I love this thing. This thing's called a Mighty Vac, and I use it for my lawnmowers, anything that's got oil in it, pressure washers. Some of these pressure washers don't even have drain plugs now. And you just drop the tube down through the fill hole, and you can pull out most of the oil, and it works very well. So you don't have to do that on a Spyder, but because my drain pan is not very deep, it's really just a cake pan that I showed you earlier. I can suck about 4 quarts out just by putting this down the oil fill tube into the reservoir and pull it out. So I'm going to get started with my oil change, and maybe I'll have a few more things to say as we go through. Okay, a little progress report here. This is what your clutch side drain plug looks like, and I've put the new sealing washer on it. When I took the plug out, the old one fell into the old drain pan, and that's because it fits pretty loose, so don't be surprised if it does that. You want to be sure though that they don't stick to the crankcase, because I've seen that happen before. Okay, this is the oil cap that comes out. Here's the rod that I was telling you about. When you pull that out, then it lets the oil canister drain right back into the crankcase. So when I pulled mine out, the filter came right out with it, so that made it real easy. On the magnet, there was only 2 little tiny specks on that magnet when I took it out, so I was real happy about that. And another thing that I do, I like to pour the oil out of my drain pan real slow and then look for anything that doesn't look right, any shavings, anything, and there's not a thing in here. There's not a speck at all. Now, I've only got 2,000 miles on this 2018 Spyder, but I don't like to run my oil changes to the max, so since I won't ride maybe 4,000, 5,000 miles a year, I just change mine annually. So, okay, I'm getting ready to drain the crankcase side, and I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, I've got all my oil drained, and I've put all my O-rings back on. I'll give you a close-up look at those. And you want to oil these O-rings so that they go on easy. Do not try to screw those O-rings on over those threads. You'll ruin them. You roll them on. You roll them on. And that's how you put them on. Put your sealing washer on the back first. Then put the black washer on, then the green one. Or actually, that's not correct. Put the sealing washer on first. Take the black one off with the green one still in place. Put the new black one on. That keeps it from snapping into that groove. Then put your green one on. So okay, I've got my torque wrench set for 15 foot-pounds, and I'm going to put the clutch cover screw back in, and I'll be back. Okay, we've got all the drain plugs in, and we've got the oil filter top cover on, and the clutch cover drain plug is 15 foot-pounds plus or minus 1. The engine sump drain plug's 21 foot-pounds plus or minus 1. The oil filter top cover is 18 foot-pounds plus or minus 2. And then, of course, the engine holds 5 quarts of oil. So I'll get the oil put in, and we'll run her tomorrow and make sure everything's okay. Now, you may have noticed that I did this entire oil change without jacking the bike up. That's not the easiest way to do it. If you've got a way to raise it up off the floor, it makes getting to those drain plugs and finding them much easier. I knew where they were, so I didn't see any need to raise it up. And with that Rachel Ray cake pan, it's not very tall, and so I can slide it under there just fine. Now, one note, when you loosen that engine sump cover, as soon as you crack that plug, it will stop dripping, so you'll need to have your pan in place. So I hope you found this helpful, and maybe you can do your own oil changes from now. Now all we have left to do, like I said, is put the oil in, put all the panels back on, and she'll be ready to go again. So appreciate you watching, and as always, ride safe and take good care of your Spyder.